Good morning. Greetings in the name of Christ. Welcome to this daily devotional on Saturday, June 20th, the day before Father's Day. For the last few days, I've been reading stories about fathers, and today I will do the same. And I'm beginning from 1 Kings chapter 2, the first few verses, when King David, is speaking to his son Solomon. When David's time to die drew near, he charged his son Solomon, saying, I am about to go the way of all the earth. Be strong, be courageous, and keep the charge of the Lord your God, walking in God's ways, and keeping God's statutes, God's commandments, God's ordinances, and God's testimonies, as it is written in the law of Moses, so that you may prosper in all that you do, and wherever you turn. I would imagine for most fathers that is their wish, that their children prosper. Today's story is by Kelly Buckley, and she's an author, a speaker, and a teacher of gratitude and resilience. I like that title. And the title of the article is, He Didn't Tell Me How to Live, He Lived, and Let Me Watch Him Do It. Father's Day. It is a day not only about celebration, but reflection on the privilege of fatherhood and the gifts that are bestowed upon each of us when we become parents. If your father has died, this Sunday in June can be a tough 24 hours. You have this love to give to your dear old dad, but he is no longer with you physically. The commercialized aspect of the day illuminates the absence of him, and you can feel the pains of grief all over again. For those of you experiencing your first Father's Day without Dad, this can be especially raw. The year of firsts after you lose someone special is something that you have to walk through and not around, and it is not easy. For those who, like me, have been without Dad for some time, it can still be a day of melancholy, a time where you can't help but think, what if he was here? You notice the family's out for Father's Day brunch. You see the greeting cards that say just the right words, but Dad is not here to be showered with your love and affection. My dad passed away in April 1993, but there is not a week that goes by that I don't think about him. I remember his tin whistle, how he loved to entertain, his artistic talents, and the long, long chats. My Lord, my father could tell a story. He could create a visual with words like no other. He would draw in his audience with his descriptions and details, and he never took any shortcuts with his stories. He enjoyed it so much, some stories seemed to go on forever. I remember one particular time when I was in high school. My date came to the door to pick me up to go see a movie. My dad started talking, and by the time his story was finished, so was the movie. I spent my entire date sitting in the living room waiting for him to finish. Maybe that was his plan all along. But as much as that probably exasperated me, I will always be thankful for the time he gave to crafting his words, to talking to his children. He was a deep man, and thoughtful and contemplative about life. Some of the deepest chats I've ever had were with him. He helped me understand that it was important to think about the tough questions of life, and that not every answer would be black and white. Those stories all had a lesson about life attached, weaved within the colorful words and devilish grins. I tell you this small snippet about my father so I can better explain how I choose to celebrate Father's Day since his passing. He may not be able to open up a card or present for me, so my gift to him is to use whatever he gave me. Each time I do, I feel like I'm honoring his spirit, what he taught me, how he raised me, and how he lived. Here are some examples. Tell a good story. Each time I write or try to tell my own story to another, I think about him. I think about the example he set for me for living a grateful life. I think about his flair for storytelling, the use of a good dramatic pause, or injecting some simple humor to lighten things up when needed. My father showed me how to see the world with optimistic eyes, in less than perfect circumstances. One of my gifts back to him is to continue to see a world of possibility, magic, kindness, and love, and tell stories about this beautiful life. Work hard. I really can't recall my father's hands being without the marks of hard work. They were always clean, but he had the calloused palms and grease-stained fingers of a man who put everything he had into a job well done and supporting his family. I can still see him walking through the door after his shift at the mill. No spring left in his step, but always a smile on his face. My gift back to him is to enjoy a hard day's work and to smile while I do it. Be kind. My dad was a doer and a helper. He was never afraid to jump in and lend a hand when needed, nor did he ever have the expectation of something in return. He showed me that the return on an investment of kindness is tenfold. My gift to him is to be generous of heart and to be kind to those I meet on my journey. And, just as he did, I will do so without expectation or condition. Be resilient. My father did not have an easy life. He had struggles and hardships like most. A mill accident left him with a crushed leg. He had heart troubles, and like many other fathers, quietly shouldered the burdens of raising 5 children. It couldn't have been easy, but with each challenge that confronted him, he rose to the occasion and focused on the solution, all the while sheltering his children. He tucked all of us in behind him, protecting us from the storm. He showed me how to rise. My gift to him is to live a resilient life and to help others recognize that same resilience in themselves. Love without condition. I remember the moment that my family found out I was pregnant. Far too young, not even close to being prepared for parenthood myself. It must have been a hard pill for them to swallow. Sitting on my bed, I listened for the sound of my father's footsteps walking through the door after a hard day's work. He would be coming home to much more than cold beer and dinner that night. Upon hearing the news, he sat on the bed with me and held my hand and told me he loved me and everything, absolutely everything, was going to be okay. He could have said so much more, but he just loved me when I needed it the most. He made me feel safe because he knew I was terrified. He put aside all of his own feelings and he just loved me without condition. My gift to my father is to love that way. I choose not only to love my family unconditionally, but to open my heart and let others know that I am here. No questions asked, no judgment, just love. My dad may not be able to open a card or present from me, but I believe that today and every day I celebrate him by using the gifts he gave to me during our time together. I can feel him smiling. How about you? How can you celebrate your father today and every day? So today and tomorrow and every day, let us celebrate our fathers, whether they are here anymore or not. So many wonderful gifts my own father gave me, even with some challenges. We are fortunate to have fathers in our lives. Let us pray the prayer that our Father, Son, taught us to pray. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I hope you can remember and celebrate your father.